In the quiet stillness before dawn, when the world is wrapped in silence, there sits a young woman named Elara. The air is soft, filled only with the faint hum of life outside, and the steady rhythm of her breathing. Her hands move slowly, deliberately, arranging small pieces on the surface of a wooden table. It's more than just a routine, it's her ritual, a quiet act of creation. Elara has always been a builder, not of things, but of dreams, the kind that begin small, fragile, and invisible to anyone but herself. Years ago, when she first imagined the life she wanted, it was nothing more than a sketch in her mind, a rough outline drawn in hope and uncertainty. Back then, she didn't have much. There was no clear path, no guarantees, only the faint blueprint of something she believed could exist, if she had the courage to try. But dreams, she learned, are heavier than they look. They don't take shape overnight. They resist the easy way. For every step forward, there were nights she stumbled back, plans that fell apart, moments that made her question if any of it was worth it. There were days when her hands shook, when her heart felt like it was carrying too much weight for one person to bear. Still, she built, she broke, and she built again, over and over. Failure became an old companion, quiet, familiar, sometimes cruel. Each time her work collapsed, she would stare at the fragments scattered before her, and wonder if maybe the world had been right, that dreams were meant for others, not for people like her. But even in those moments, something inside her refused to quit. There was a strange kind of faith that lived in her, not loud or grand, but steady, like the soft heartbeat of persistence. She learned to listen to silence, to let time slow down, to find meaning not in the end result, but in the act of trying again. Seasons changed. The light on her desk shifted from the gold of morning to the deep blue of night. The world outside moved on. People came and went. Years passed quietly, but Elara remained. Her hands kept moving, shaping something unseen by others. Sometimes it felt aimless. Other times, it felt like she was chasing a horizon that kept running away. But that's the thing about builders. They don't stop just because they can't see the finish line. They keep going, because something deep inside tells them to. Elara's journey was never defined by one big victory. It was defined by the small ones, the mornings she didn't give up, the nights she decided to try one more time, the days she found beauty in imperfection. Her dream began to shift over time. It no longer needed to be perfect. It only needed to be hers. There were moments when she caught herself smiling, a quiet pride blooming from within. She realized that every broken piece, every failed attempt, was not a sign of weakness, but a sign that she was still building. Every scar became a line in the blueprint of who she was becoming. And one day, without even realizing it, she reached a point she had once only imagined. The project that had started as scattered fragments now stood whole before her, not flawless, but complete. She looked at it, at the thing her hands had shaped through years of patience and persistence, and something inside her softened. It wasn't just what she built that mattered, it was who she had become while building it. All those nights of doubt, the quiet tears, the silent hopes, they had drawn the blueprint not just of a dream, but of her strength. She finally understood that dreams are not about achieving perfection. They are about transformation, about becoming the kind of person who refuses to stop building, even when no one else is watching. The morning light spilled across her table, touching every surface she had worked on. The world was waking up again. Outside, a new day began. Inside, Elara smiled, not because the journey was over, but because she finally saw what it had always been about. Dreams don't come true all at once. They're built slowly, with trembling hands, sleepless nights, and quiet courage. Piece by piece, layer by layer, failure by failure, until one day, what once existed only in imagination stands before you, real, imperfect, but yours. And when the world finally sees it, and says, "You made this," they will never know the weight of the nights you almost gave up, the mornings you started again, the countless invisible moments that brought it to life. But you will know, and that knowing, that quiet, steady pride, will be worth more than applause, more than perfection, because every dream begins the same way, with a single blueprint, and the courage to believe it's worth building.